Yes, ma'am. All right, I'll translate. And so what's the question? I will repeat it. So I didn't mention salary in any of the discussions. Is there anything else to the question? I'll repeat it. That's the question. Great. A good question. Very good question. And actually, you see, here's the dance I have to do. This presentation has got 120 pages, and I took 30. That's the challenge. I have a chart that shows, and I have it from different companies and different research bases, that as a motivator of behavior, salary or compensation ranks 5 or 8, somewhere in that vicinity. And you go, that can't be right, but I've seen it all over the place. Let me give you a little anecdotal evidence of this. You get a raise one day, right? Like the Gold Cup, it lights you up. You feel great. You feel wonderful. A month and a half later, what happens to that money? It gets sucked up in the bills, doesn't it? Or if you're saving, it goes. And so if you felt really good and you're productive in the first month, 6 months later, you don't remember you got a raise because it just goes in there, it's paying the car bill, it's doing, or you buy something with it and it doesn't exist anymore. So salary or compensation is really good, it's important. People need to get to a threshold of taking care of their lives. But beyond that, it is not a sustainable motivator. And I mean, as much as we feel emotional about it, you know what? No, I won't say it. Money just doesn't motivate you. Somebody says it's not as good as bad sex. But anyway, does it make sense? Money is important, but up to a threshold. What else? Any other question, please? Real quickly, we'll take a couple. Yes, ma'am.
Just to build on what our colleague just asked about salary, in your survey where you set, or your report where compensation is at number 8, I mean, who is the audience? Because I'm thinking if an organization is stacked with different levels of employees, so there's
yes.
a line, then there's middle, and then there's the top.
Yes.
And depending on what cycle you're at,
yes.
I think salary would be a stronger motivator.
Yes.
If you have kids to put through school, if you're paying your mortgage. So as much as I'm coming to work and I'm giving my shareholders a rate of return on
yes.
their investment, I mean, how do I get my boss to give me a fair rate of return
yes.
on my investment to the company?
That's right. That's a great question, very insightful, because good comment, right? Because you can feel it. When you dig into the data, this is what I talked about with research. You have to know what the research is designed to measure. When you dig into the research, here's what it indicates. It indicates that while you can give a big number for everybody, this number is a sort of average applicable to people of different ranks. When you get to the rank where people don't have enough money to take care of their basic sustenance, the number is much, much higher than 5 to 8. So, but when you put it in the whole group, it is very important. So there are those people who come to work and the money they spend to get to work is almost everything they make, that and a little lunch. The money becomes number 1 for them because it's a basic survival thing. So when you take that average and you get to the folks where they have not yet gotten to the place of satisfying their basic bills, then it is really the number 1 thing is for their children. Now, tempering that number is also the notion that people who could have gotten to that place of taking care of their bills, they may have ambitions, so when they get raises, they live at a higher level anyway. So is it the company's decision as to what level where you will live? So it's a mixed up thing about where you pitch your lifestyle and how much money you have to get to that basic. So it's a little bit more complicated, and I think it's a very insightful question. But when you get past that threshold, it goes down on the list. Great, great thought. Another question. Another question. We'll take 1 or 2 more and we'll move quickly. Great. Okay, one more here. Yes, yes, right at the back, and then we have one other hand. Yes, we'll take those 2, and then we will move on with the program, Madam MC. You're doing such a great job.
Thank you.
You need somebody with a smile like this to run a company like that. Yes, sir.
You said one of the things that millennials respond to is when companies give first.
Yes.
And you use Amazon and Facebook as very good examples.
Yes.
What is it that when a company that is already established, public sector, what do you give? Outside of salary, what do you give? And connect that to the emotional connection to the mission. How do you give something that allows for that emotional connection to the mission?
Yes, great question. I was working with a woman who reported to the CEO. And for the 12 months of doing these programs, 3 different times, the first one was not enough, she said to me, but Alvin, why should I reward and congratulate and encourage people to do the job that I'm already paying them for? And I thought, good God, can I even answer that? You know the assumption that comes with that? You know the assumption that comes with that? And about 2, 3 months later, we got into another conversation, and she said, but you're asking me to congratulate them and recognize them for something that I'm already paying them for 3 times in a year. I still don't think she got it. Because human beings, oh gosh, are you tempting me? I don't want to stay here any longer. Oh, I want to destroy Maslow's hierarchy that says that people who don't have food, shelter, and clothing don't care about esteem and dignity. I have a whole presentation on the elitism that is taught in colleges to create dysfunctional leaders. Maslow's hierarchy is wrong. There's no data in history that says he should have said that. There's nowhere proof. You go look on the internet, you'll find all kinds of psychology today saying it's wrong. People who are struggling for food, shelter, and clothing have a heightened sense of need for dignity and meaning in life. And when you get to that, where you touch the button and say, listen, I know you live in Trench Town. Let me tell you something. That's where real people live. Sometimes uptown, the people put on all kinds of veneers. I like you because I can trust you. You don't have political correctness that masks your feeling. I want you to be running this. I want you to be boss one day. Do your job. I'll get you promoted when the time is right. And we are here to take the marketplace and to be #1. When she feels her dignity and you communicate it in the context of why we're here, you don't even have to try hard. You don't even have to try hard. It's not hard. Gosh, Maslow's hierarchy. Never again tell people about Maslow's hierarchy as though it were an erudite model. It is wrong and it's upside down. One last one and we gotta go.
Good afternoon and thanks for a wonderful presentation.
You're so kind.
I'd like to find out, one size doesn't fit all.
Yes.
How is it that your programs that you put in place take into consideration the diverse culture and personalities of persons to whom you offer your service?
And please tell me a little bit more. When you talk about diversity of culture, are you talking about country, region, job classification, department? What culture are you referring to?
For example, Jamaica, because we're in Jamaica, so different cultures exist in different organizations,
Right.
and personalities are diverse wherever you go. So how is it that you would take into consideration, particularly since you're offering a package for small entities who would not be able to have the 12-month running period?
Understood.
How do you take that into consideration and to ensure that were we to take that package, that we would benefit substantially from the based on the conditions that
I understand clear. Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
So to come to that point, the point of the differences between cultures, they will go through this same program. They're going through this program talking about principles and precepts and strategies. Even if I were there, they still need to tailor it to the sector in which they are and the kind of company that they are. But to ensure that that doesn't get left up in the air, I've given you the 1-hour webinar so they can come at me and ask me and we can talk about adaptation. So tactically, that's the thing that does it. It's the 1-hour webinar. Get them to go through the 3 pieces, let's talk, and we can tailor. But I will also tell you that one of the things that I'm very confident about is that Mr. Patrick, the man who runs the NCB company, and Mr. Bowen, the man who used to run the Scotiabank company, they both gave me their entire senior management team to take them through this 12-month process. And there are 4 or 5 other companies in Jamaica. So I've gotten beaten up a lot and have had to deal with that question. So I come to it now with a little bit more bullishness, knowing the vibes are different, you know? It's one thing to live over and say you understand how things are going, but I've been beaten up enough now. Yeah, great. Ladies and gentlemen, you're so wonderful. I wish I could stay with you, but you got work to do. Give your neighbor a round of applause for making this wonderful, would you? And when you get a moment, I'll sign an autograph outside for the physical package. We will talk, have a wonderful session. I will see you